faithful. Thank you, Lord.
And good morning once again, my brothers and sisters. What a delight it is for me to share another Living Hope Today study with you. Today we find ourselves in 2 Chronicles chapter 4. You know, we've been learning about the construction of the temple, what the rooms are about, how big they are, what the walls look like, what the pillars look like, what the courtyard looks like, that sort of thing. Well, that's the structure. Okay, but there's more to it than just the structure. We need to do those things that will allow it to function as it was called by God to function. And what is the function of the temple? Well, the presence of God dwells in the Holy of Holies. Although God is omnipotent and everywhere at once, he has consigned himself to meet people there. Well, the other part of this temple is sacrifice. The offerant, the person brings their offering to the priest sacrifices the offering. The priests, for the most part, they performed the sacrifices. They were almost like butchers, killing these animals, shedding innocent blood on behalf of the guilty. Well, today we see the utensils and the things necessary to make that happen, because that's an essential function of the temple. Let me show you what I mean. Here we are in 2 Chronicles 4. He made a bronze altar. Okay, so let's just look at some of the things that were constructed here. There's a bronze altar. It's 20 cubits long and 20 cubits wide and 10 cubits high. You remember that a cubit was measured from the tip of your finger to your elbow. It was basically 18 to 21 inches. They didn't have tape measures back then, so that's how they constructed things as a unit of measure. There was a consistency, but you can see 20 cubits. This is quite a sizable structure, this bronze altar. I mean, if a cubit is 18 inches, a foot and a half times 20 would be what? 25 feet long? Quite a bit. 25 feet wide, 12 feet high? Wow, okay. 10 cubits high, it might even be 180 inches high, a little over 10 feet. All right, so then he made something called what? The sea of cast metal. We'll find out in a little while what that's about. But for now, we know that it's circular in shape. It's measuring 10 cubits from rim to rim and 5 cubits high. It took a line of 30 cubits to measure around it, so it's sizable as well. Verse 3, below the rim, figures of bulls encircled it, 10 to a cubit. The bulls were cast in 2 rows in one piece with the sea. So now we have one unit. It's like a big bowl. It's called the sea. The sea stood on 12 bulls, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east. The sea rested on top of them, and their hindquarters were toward the center. So these bulls are facing outward as they support this sea. Verse 5, it was a handbreadth in thickness, and its rim was like the rim of a cup, like a lily blossom. It held 3,000 baths. That's a lot of water. He then made 10 basins for washing and placed 5 on the south side and 5 on the north. In them, the things to be used for the burnt offerings were rinsed. Okay, so these basins are surrounding this sea, it's called. But the sea was to be used by the priests for washing. I guess you'd need to do a lot of washing if you were dealing with this much blood and this much death, which is what's happening as a function of the temple. So they have a place to wash the instruments. They have a place for the priests to wash. He made 10 gold lampstands, okay, according to the specifications for them, and placed them in the temple, 5 on the south side and 5 on the north. Again, so now we remember there's no electricity, there's no light outside of these lampstands unless it's daytime, right? He made 10 tables and placed them in the temple, 5 on the south side and 5 on the north. Okay, he also made 100 gold sprinkling bowls. That's a lot of bowls. Again, these are the instruments necessary to carry out the function of sacrifice in the temple. He made the courtyard of the priests and the large court and the doors for the court, and he overlaid the doors with bronze. He placed the sea on the south side at the southeast corner. So now we're getting location explained to us. He also made the pots and shovels and sprinkling bowls. So Huram finished the work he had undertaken for King Solomon in the temple of God. You remember Huram is the king of Tyre. He's helping based on his relationship with David and how that's carried over to Solomon. 2 pillars and 2 bowl-shaped capitals on the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, and the 2 sets of network decorating the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on the top of the pillars. This is what Huram made for Solomon. The 400 pomegranates for the 2 sets of network, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network, decorating the bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, the stands and their basins, the sea, and the 12 bowls under it, the pots, shovels, meat forks, and all related articles, all the objects that Huram-Abi made for King Solomon for the temple of the Lord were of polished bronze. The king had them cast in clay molds in the plain of the Jordan between Succoth and Zarethan. All these things that Solomon made amounted to so much that the weight of the bronze was not determined. Remember how Solomon said, this is going to be absolutely magnificent. This temple is going to be great because our God is absolutely magnificent. He's the only true God. He's absolutely great. The temple is going to reflect that. Well, here we have precious metals being used and God's name being honored through the wonder of the materials. Well, Solomon also made all the furnishings that were in God's temple, the golden altar, the tables on which was the bread of the presence. Again, this is modeling the tabernacle, only in a much larger scale. The lampstands of pure gold with their lamps to burn in front of the inner sanctuary as prescribed. The gold floral work in lamps and tongs, they were solid gold. The pure gold wick trimmers, sprinkling bowls, dishes, and censers, and the gold doors of the temple, the inner doors to the most holy place, and the doors of the main hall. And that's the end of chapter 4. What do we know? Well, a lot of us would skip over this, not really understanding the significance of it. I'm sure if I was a Hebrew rabbi, I might be able to go into more detail, but given my limited understanding, we just need to know that sacrifice was key to the function of the temple. Sacrifice cannot happen unless the utensils and the essentials to make it happen are in place. And we see that Solomon, in the wisdom God has given him, with the resources God has given him, and the help God has given him, Solomon is constructing and now supplying the temple with all that's needed. Again, through chapter 9 of 2 Chronicles, we'll see that this is about the construction and dedication of the temple. It's a great moment in Israel's history, and today we add one more piece to the process to see that that temple gets completed as God has delivered his plan to David. God bless you, church. Serve him well today.
Who is it who for sinners shed his blood, and now for cleansing all can plunge beneath that flood? It's Jesus. But do you know who he is? He's the image of the invisible God, and he's the brightness future, the past. He is God.